While talking about immigration, immigrants, and crime, Austin here left a photo comment. The photo was the cover of this study from SCAAP, and the headline here reads, SCAAP. Data suggests illegal aliens commit crime at a much higher rate than citizens and lawful immigrants. Allow me to read to you now from another publication. This is from the Cato Institute, talking about that study. The study that the photo he left and the response to it was from back in 2019. And the article here reads, the Federation of American Immigration Reform, otherwise known as FAIR, recently released a report on illegal immigrant incarceration rates that is poorly contrived and terribly executed. FAIR uses the number of illegal immigrants counted under the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program, otherwise known as SCAAP, which compensates local and state governments for incarcerating some illegal immigrants to calculate the illegal immigrant incarceration rate. FAIR finds that illegal immigrants, as measured by the number of SCAP aliens, are incarcerated at a much higher rate than natives and legal immigrants, according to their faulty methods. There are many problems with FAIR's report. The first problem is that it doesn't state what year or period of years that it is analyzing. I can't even work backward because their citations only indicate when they accessed the relevant data, not which annual data they accessed. This means that it would take many dozens of hours of guesswork to recreate their work. The second problem with using SCAP data is they are the oddest crime data. The SCAP aliens are a measure of the stock and flow of illegal immigrants into state and local correctional facilities over a year. SCAP is used to compensate local communities and states for the cost of incarcerating some illegal immigrants. It is not designed to be used to estimate illegal immigrant incarceration rates. As a result, the normal operation of dividing the number of prisoners who are in SCAP by the stock of all prisoners to calculate a rate is not useful here, because the proper denominator is the stock of the prison population at the beginning of a year plus the number of people admitted throughout the year, the rest of the year. However, FAIR uses just the stock of the population in state prisons at the end of the year plus estimates from a private group for a number of people incarcerated in local facilities. FAIR does not add the flow to the stock to estimate a proper denominator. As a result, there is no correct way to use SCAP data to estimate incarceration rates because there is not a similar number published by the government that can serve as a denominator. Using the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the BJS, one can estimate a flow plus stock denominator for some years without eliminating the significant problem of overcounting. Although I caution against drawing a lesson from this back of the envelope calculation. Stephen Dinan of the Washington Times piqued my curiosity, and I cannot resist. This is the only way to use SCAP data to estimate illegal immigrant incarceration rates in state prisons. This guy's back-of-the-envelope calculation uses only the state-level incarceration numbers and excludes the number of local SCAP prisoners and people jailed on the local level. This is because the BJS does not collect the local numbers, and they are not available for many years. The number of illegal immigrants nationwide comes from DHS, while the number of non-illegal immigrants comes from the American Community Survey. This guy merely divided the number of SCAP aliens nationwide who were incarcerated and who entered the state correctional facilities by the number of illegal immigrants nationwide in each year. He then compared the rate to the same rate of non-illegal immigrants who were in the correctional institutions that year or that entered them. Lastly, he presented the figure per 100,000 for each subpopulation, because that is common in crime literature. Figure 1, which I'll show you in a minute, shows the nationwide results. Illegal immigrants and the SCAP program are incarcerated at a lower rate than non-illegal immigrants. Just to reiterate, this is back-of-the-envelope calculations with significant problems. It excludes all prisoners incarcerated on the federal and local levels. There is a lot of double counting. SCAP does not count all illegal immigrants. The non-illegal immigrant number is a combination of legal immigrants and native-born Americans, which makes the latter look more peaceful than the former more dangerous than they really are. There's the figure. Lastly, the SCAP figure is not refined enough to use for estimating an illegal immigrant incarceration rate because there is not a good enough denominator available. However, using the best data and methods available still shows that the nationwide incarceration rate for SCAP aliens is below that of non-illegal immigrants, which includes native-born Americans and legal immigrants. Fair's report is a prime example of poor scholarship, but the authors are only partly to blame. The lack of adequate crime and incarceration data makes such desperate attempts tempting. Your turn.